Drunk tank thing.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Rooster Teeth Drunk Tank.
That's like the trance theme song.
Yeah, that one had a little bit of soul to it.
A little house music there.
Depeche Teeth.
That's the Ouroboros theme song.
That's Ouroboros?
Yeah, Ouroboros submitted that one.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah. And I guess he finally responded. You called him out a couple of weeks ago, seeing if he would submit a theme song.
I didn't call him out. I was just a fan of his prior work, and I thought, hey, let's get a RT podcast theme song if we can out of him. Or a Drunk Tank theme song, excuse me. Do we ever refer to this as the RT podcast?
So when I post it on the front page, sometimes I call it the Rooster Teeth Podcast.
Yeah.
In parentheses only, though.
It's good that it has like 7 names, so nobody's confused about what it actually is.
Yeah, well, it's not like, you go out and mark. Our billboards we put up for our podcast, we have a confusing branding.
The Rooster Teeth Drunk Tank Podcast, made by the guys who brought you redversusblue.com.
I like the sound of it. It's got a ring to it.
There you go.
So I'm sure everyone's real glad to be back in the office after an exhausting week in San Diego.
Yeah, I really am. I really, really am.
I don't know. I wanted to stay in San Diego. I was ready to be done with the convention, but man, I want to stay in San Diego.
Well, you like 75-degree weather?
Yeah, I like it a little bit better than the 30-degree jump in temperature that we got when we got back here. It's literally 30 degrees hotter.
Last night at 10 p.m., it was 90 degrees still.
Yeah, you guys will be happy to know this is our 42nd day over 100 this year in Austin.
That's fucking crazy.
It's ridiculous.
That's 4,200 degrees.
Wow.
Can we
just like the sun?
When we were coming in for the landing in Austin, the turbulence was probably the worst turbulence I felt on a landing in Austin, at least.
Yeah, for sure.
Of any plane ride ever. And it's just because there's so much heat radiating up from the ground.
Jesus,
right
what
now,
are you, a scientist or something?
Yeah, you sound super smart.
They'll ask me about bullets and their trajectory. That's a whole other discussion. But it was nuts. I mean, it's like 105 here every day. Mm-hmm. Every single day.
You know what to me the worst is when you know it's going to be bad, is when you step off the plane into the jetway and you're not in the airport yet.
Yeah.
You're walking up the little portable ramp they have outside, which is obviously not environment controlled, and you know it's hot. You can just feel it. You're like, oh, shit, yep. That's your first experience with the Austin heat as soon as you step out.
And then once you step out the airport and the sun actually hits your skin, it burns, it tingles.
Yeah, exactly. It's like...
Man, we saw that guy walking to the long-term lot on the way out of the airport.
Man.
We're driving out. We've been driving out of that parking lot because it's so big for like 5 minutes, it seems like. And we see a guy, this poor guy, and he's like, totally bald. And he's like carrying all this heavy luggage, and he's just sweating at 105-degree heat. And I was like, man, that guy's head is going to be like raspberry colored by the time he gets back to his car. He's going to be a lobster.
And he was heavily dressed, too.
And he was heavily dressed,
and I think he was looking around like he didn't know where he was parked.
Yeah.
He was like looking in all the different lots and just
bad.
kind of walking down the road. Like, oh, man.
Poor fucker.
He was wearing
He's
a
dead.
parka.
He's dead now.
Becca uploaded a photo the other day from her car where the temperature in her car is at 111 degrees.
Wow.
Man.
The people in Seattle have been complaining. They're finally getting hit by some serious heat. And I've been hearing lots of complaints from them that it's just brutal up there as well.
What do you think serious heat is to people in Seattle? Like 85?
I'm just about to look it up. I would guess 85, yeah.
It's like, oh, this rain is warm.
I'm sure they have a lot more humidity up there. I don't know. That might make it a lot more unbearable.
that's a serious deal. Because we've had a couple humid days here, and it's not fun.
Unless you've lived in Houston, or Mississippi or Louisiana
Or Alabama.
You don't know what humidity
It's
is.
true.
I lived in Puerto Rico for a while, and I think the hottest it ever got there was like 82 degrees, but it felt like 10 times hotter than any temperature we've had out here.
Dude, when I was in Panama back in the day, the humidity was actually 100%, which you would think you'd be like a wall of water. It's not, but that was fucking humid. That was like, I don't even want to talk about, you can't wear underwear because your shit just gets gross.
You know what I love?
Especially if you're living in the jungle.
I love that we actually had a 30-minute meeting yesterday where we planned out the topics for the drunk tank, and then we immediately get into some random conversation for...
You can't plan the drunk tank. The drunk tank just happens.
Drunk tank plans you.
You know, Jeff, you told me a really funny story about weather one time when you were stationed in the Persian Gulf after the Gulf War.
Uh-huh.
And you said that it would be like 140 degrees during the day?
Literally, like, it gets the hottest I ever saw was like 156 degrees, yeah.
156?
Yeah, that's what
Wow.
the temperature gauges would say.
That's like...
But it was
like 15 degrees away from chicken being done.
Yeah, no, it's fucked up. It was...
Seriously?
Yeah, no, it's pretty fucking hot. It would
Chicken,
be like,
one of the guys you were working with?
yeah, Lieutenant Chicken. It would on average be like 130 though. Like it'd be like 120, 130, 140,
And then you would go back to the bunk at night,
which was air conditioned.
And
I would come in, and I was wearing, because the Army was cheap when I was in, and they gave you winter weight. There's two different kinds of clothes you get, winter weight and summer weight. And they gave us all winter weight to go to Kuwait with. So we also had to wear winter weight clothes, and we're not allowed to roll our sleeves up in the field and the whole thing. So I would come in these heavy clothes and just sweating, because even at night it's like 125 degrees. And I would walk into the barracks, and I would be, within 5 seconds I'd be freezing, and I'd literally be shaking. And one night I was like, why would somebody make it 26 degrees in our barracks? And I walked over to the thermostat, and it was like 89.
And you're freezing
And
at
I was
89.
freezing. It was the coldest I'd ever been. Yeah.
That's wrong.
It's wrong.
God.
Talk about a dry heat, too. I would come back to Killeen, just north of Austin. And for about 2 months after I got back, all of the skin on my hands would peel off in layers over and over again. Like I had some kind of a disease because I hit the humidity and like just my skin shed. It was fucking disgusting.
That's not good.
So if you're listening from Seattle, that's what you're in for.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to hell.
Yeah. And I would have sinus problems in Austin because it was just too humid for me.
Austin was too humid?
Yeah. And it's obviously a very dry place.
Yeah. I tell you, I've acclimated pretty well, actually. Like, it should be
You mean
at
just coming back from San Diego, you mean?
at 105 degrees. I should be miserable, and I'm not.
Really? Yeah.
I didn't even find when we went to San Diego. I felt like, I got off there, it was 85 degrees, and I was like, right away, I was the same level of discomfort. It's too hot.
It seemed like the sun was a little intense, like when we were walking from the hotel to the convention center. Like,
Yeah.
There were some days where it was beat you down a little bit.
But really, even like when we were in the sun, like in full sun in San Diego, that was cooler than in the shade in Austin.
Oh, yeah.
By far.
No doubt.
But, it doesn't matter, because the biggest problem with San Diego and Comic-Con is how ungodly big that convention is,
Yeah.
and how much you're walking.
Yeah.
Like, whenever we'd go to New York for an event in New York, that was like a weekend of walking, which is nonstop. You get off the plane and you start walking, and you never stop. Like, while you're watching the screening of Red vs. Blue, you're walking around the theater, it seemed like.
Well, you essentially walk from pizza shop to Mr. Softy's.
That is weird how they don't have
Softy's.
seats at the theaters in New York. There's just all walking.
It's all treadmills.
Bernie and I used to have a pact whenever we'd go to New York for events that if we saw a pizzeria, we had to stop and have a slice.
Yep.
And we would eat like 7 slices of pizza a day, but we would still lose weight in New York because we'd walk so much.
We would be at a pizza place. We'd see one across the street. We'd say we have to finish this slice because we have to walk across the street and get a slice over there.
It was
And that was
awesome.
before we had an actual good pizzeria here in Austin.
Yeah.
How do you all manage to stay so fit? Eating so much pizza.
It's all the walking, baby.
Yeah. It was. I was the same way in Seattle with the pretzel places. Those pretzel
really?
places are hard to pass in the San Diego Convention Center.
You should make up a new diet called like the pizza diet, and you can only eat food you can walk to.
Look who's talking. Though.
No, I'm saying, like, I think it's a real thing. If you can walk to it and get it, you can eat it.
That's not a bad idea.
Every time we sent you guys out to get food, you either went and got In-N-Out burgers, and then one time you brought back like a steak sandwich. It was literally
That thing
a
was crazy.
steak on pieces of bread.
Yeah, it was a New York strip steak in between 2 giant pieces of bread. But was it awesome?
You're welcome, by the way.
The bread was like butter soaked.
Yeah, it
too.
was also it was soaked in butter. And I don't know if y'all like blue cheese, but like they were supposed to
right.
come with blue cheese on them, and it was a
Yeah.
giant tub of blue cheese
We
next
just
to them.
we just didn't want to give you guys the cardboard disc pizza that they sell inside the convention center. We wanted,
Man.
I
wanted you to live it up.
I appreciate that actually.
Yeah.
The food they sell at convention centers is terrible. But San Diego Comic-Con has one good thing going for it in that they have banned booths from selling Pocky, which is nice for me because I won't go into a Pocky coma by the end of it.
Did they? I swear I saw one booth with Pocky.
I don't.
Nope.
Bernie and I spent like an hour walking around looking for it. We couldn't find it.
There was one over there, like in the low numbers, like in the 200s and 300s, that had some.
I think
Is it
that's the
only-
convention centers. They're starting to ban anyone from selling food. And I think for a while they didn't know that booths were selling food.
No, I think that's totally legit. I mean, I'm sure there's supposed to be permits or health regulations or something involved with selling people food.
I guess so. They just want to make more money on their $8
Yeah.
turkey sandwiches.
Yeah. I know I wouldn't want to buy Pocky out of some dude's pocket.
This was the 40th anniversary of Comic-Con, by the way, and I just want to point out that they also, for the first 35 years of Comic-Con, also missed that people were selling bootleg copies of every movie and every TV show ever. That's something that's really changed since we started going to Comic-Con.
Yeah, for sure.
tremendously. Yeah.
There's a whole bootleg DVD set up right next to the $8 hot dog stand as well. It's like you go over there and get like an $8 hot dog and an $8 copy of Wolverine.
All seasons of Futurama.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I remember I was in one of those bootleg booths. I was thinking, how can they do this out in the open? You know, how can they have this? And then the guy had the audacity to have the signs up everywhere saying, "You are being watched. You are being videotaped, and I
yeah.
prosecute." It's like, well, good for fucking you, buddy. You know,
You-
wouldn't want to steal your fucking stolen shows.
It seems like what I see now, obviously the bootleg thing has really died down, but what I see now is people buying stuff at the convention, then reselling it at their booth for a markup.
yeah,
Like at this
Yeah.
year's Comic-Con, we saw, Griffball figures were being sold by Entertainment Earth for $17.
Yeah.
But then some dudes on
They
the other
were
side of
the
convention-
actual distributors.
Right, they were the actual distributors. So people on the other side of the hall were selling the Griffball figures for like $22.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. That $5, worth it. To not walk across that convention center floor, that's well worth it. By the way, we never introduced ourselves. They probably don't even know who the fuck's talking.
Oh, well, they should know. They should know me.
Who are you?
I'm Gus.
Nice.
I'm not Gus.
Which hot chick are you this week?
I'll be Marina Orlova.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I'll just be Jeff.
Who
guess-
are you?
We have Matt in here with us. That's what I wanted to point
I
out.
guess I'm just Matt. I want a whole,
Persona.
pseudonym, nom de plume. What do you call it in radio?
I don't know.
Handle.
Handle. Yeah.
The dude from Attack of the Show.
I'm DJ Hullum. Let's
Said-
light this motherfucker up.
DJH.
And this is probably the best description of what the Comic-Con crowd is like. He said, people at Comic-Con walk like old people fuck. And that is exactly right. I mean, you are just walking along there, and people are just doddering like, da, 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 they're not going anywhere. They're just wandering, and then they stop every 4 feet to look at something or to take a freaking picture of something.
The worst, of course, the stopping is terrible. What my pet peeve is when they're walking at a good clip, at a good speed, then all of a sudden they do a 90-degree turn without any warning.
Oh, they do that all the
Plus-
time.
And without looking, and all of a sudden you're fucking smashing into the person.
Not only are they not looking, but they'll look left and walk right. How the fuck do they do that?
Well, they look left to make sure there's nothing to walk to over there.
And you're always surprised. That's the other thing is they're always surprised when they get run into, and it's like, how could you not get run into? It's like 150,000 people in here.
Didn't you get run into and roughed up by someone, Bernie?
Yeah, we both did.
Oh, I did. I got roughed up by a celebrity's entourage. I was walking with Jeff.
I'm Jeff.
Yes, thanks. I was just say
I'm
Gavin.
DJ Hullum.
I was walking with Jeff across the floor, and like these guys who they're called the elites, which are the security service there, I guess, and they're a bunch of fucking pricks. And they were escorting someone through the crowd. They go move, move, move. They make a big production out of it, where they could easily just part the ways that they wanted to without screaming at the top of their lungs. But
But it makes them feel important.
exactly, they want to point out the fact that they're escorting a celebrity, which I sound all like disenchanted, but I'm about to get all excited that I ran into a celebrity. Anyway, so this guy stopped. He literally stopped me. Like he put his hand on my chest to stop me. And he goes, "Hold here, we're coming through here." Then he stops me. So there's a space clearly in front of me where I was walking that he prevented me from walking into. He stops me, then proceeds to walk right through me. Like he stops me in place and then tries to walk around the back of me by walking through my left shoulder.
It was just like the best lead block ever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was the guy was a moron. And then and I was like, you fucking asshole. And whoever he was escorting like reached out and like patted me on the forearm. The short guy, and he goes, "Sorry about that, buddy." And it was Danny DeVito. So that was a weird
I
story.
never saw him.
But you think it'd be easier
I didn't
for them
live down enough.
You think it'd be
Seriously.
easier for them to like put Danny DeVito on their shoulders and like piggyback him through the convention center,
Like Homer did with Mark Hamill.
Well, I was thinking Yoda, but, and Luke Skywalker.
But it sounds like
Both Mark Hamills,
Danny
yeah.
DeVito was a nice guy in this
He was.
scenario.
He seemed nice.
And it was just the handler who was kind of like,
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
being
yeah.
a douchebag.
Being a
And
dick.
that's always the case. And then another my other celebrity sighting that I had on the floor was there was the end of the booth or the end of the con hall down by the video games, which were kind of cordoned off the back wall this time.
Yeah, the far left wall.
Yeah, and that part of the hall was deadly for traffic. I don't know what it was, but when you got down there past some of the movie stuff, it just became like you were shoulder to shoulder like Mardi Gras or a mosh pit, and it was impossible to navigate down there. And
in the Warner area.
past that. Anyway, so I was walking along at a pretty steady clip, pretty happy, and then I stopped dead, and I'm sitting there like, what is going on? I see all those people with cameras over their heads pointing down at something, and they're like, oh, here, clearly there's a celebrity on the floor, sitting there dead still, smashed in between all those people for like 2 or 3 minutes, which was an eternity. Then they finally start moving, and I think, okay, well, at least I'll get to see who this celebrity is. You know, at least I'll get something out of this. It was Gene Simmons.
Nice. Did you get his autograph?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of his sex tape.
Who isn't a huge... Does he have a sex... He doesn't have a sex
Yeah,
tape.
he
totally.
does.
Jesus
He's totally fucking
Christ.
while I Want to Know What Love Is playing in the background.
Good lord.
What is it with celebrities now where they're like, as they get older, they're just turning into like wax people? I don't know what it is. It's just
Yeah,
like...
he's not aged well.
No, and they get like this...
How could he?
Why don't
With his lifestyle, is that a choice?
they're not aging either. They're like... There was no difference between Gene Simmons and the old haggard sword swallower who was sitting outside of our booth.
That
for a while.
motherfucker.
That guy was. I didn't want that guy around.
No.
That was messed up.
You know, the most frustrating part about that is, I guess I should explain to everyone. We had behind our booth was the Spike and Mike Animation Festival booth, which I don't understand how they're still around with the internet being around. But
I
I guess
they're not dead.
yeah. Plus, I guess to get people to come to their booth, on the final day they had a sword swallower. So in their booth, they had this dude who would, obviously put a sword in his mouth and swallow it, and these huge crowds would appear. People would be taking pictures and screaming, and they had like a megaphone. And yet, going back to those elite people did nothing to disperse that crowd. Yet they came by our booth once to tell us to turn our monitors off because people weren't dispersing.
More than
Because
once.
Yeah.
They were gathering around our monitors and we're blocking the aisle.
We have kind of a history at Comic-Con of them giving us a hard time about traffic, which makes no sense whatsoever. We had that first booth that first year. It was at the end of that hallway, and it was just we stay in our booth the entire time signing, which they tried to move us out and tried to move us in the autograph area, and we just won't do it.
Yeah.
It's like that's what we're here to do.
It doesn't make sense.
No, it makes no fucking sense.
Especially when you can walk over to like the Mattel booth and there's like human dominoes in a big circle going around the entire booth. It's like fucking 12 rows deep.
Or you
And
go down
nobody
the-
cares about that.
You go down the other end of the booth or the con hall, and there's endless traffic. I mean, you can't
Yeah.
even move. And like we have a collection of people who are crowded around. We were showing the Red vs. Blue animated piece on our monitors about once every 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was like a 15-minute reel.
So a crowd would build up for every 15 minutes. A crowd would build up to watch it, and it would last 4 minutes, and then they would disperse. And some guy comes by and goes, "You need to turn off your monitors because these crowds are not dispersing." And so we said, "No, we're
Yeah.
not gonna." And
Yeah,
what did they do?
I'm sure they went over to fucking Lucasfilm or Warner and told them to turn their monitors off because people were watching Star Wars.
Absolutely.
Or whatever Warner has.
No, I was in there when they were showing the Old Republic trailer on the big screen over there,
Uh-huh.
and it was ridiculous. I mean, it was like you could not move. I mean, it was like
Yeah.
Mardi Gras times 10.
I
Like
bet
Bernie
they
was
almost.
saying.
I bet
People were
I bet they almost had as many people watching that Old Republic trailer as we had watching Red vs. Blue animated.
I would say
Almost.
I bet almost.
It was close. It was close, but
by like a factor of a billion.
but I tell you what they did not have was the Comic-Con guys coming around and going, "Hey,
Yeah.
let's disperse this crowd."
Get outta
you
here.
know?
By the way, Comic-Con, how much longer can they call it Comic-Con?
Oh man, I went to a party where we talked about that.
Yeah, it is not a comic book convention at all. Like every year there's
Don't say that.
every year there's like 15% less comic related stuff and places that sell comic books, and it's like the video game section's 3 times the size it was when we first started going now.
Yeah, I don't think there was a video game section. When we
No,
first
I don't
started
think so
going.
either. And now there's like it's all Star Wars and video games and movies.
Yeah,
You know?
and that video game section. I mean, like that Xbox booth was a nightmare.
you can get anywhere near it.
It
In-
was probably a 20 by 20 booth, and it only opened one direction, so it was impossible to get in and out of that thing.
Yep.
And of course, they made a stage. How do you make a stage in a booth? Let's lay it out like that.
Their
Somehow they
architects
managed.
figured it out. Yeah.
And so the stage took up even more of the traffic flow, and it was just, man, it was impossible to get through that thing.
You know, I'm really jealous that you got to see big celebrities like Danny DeVito and Gene
Yeah.
Simmons. I think the only celebrity I saw was Marina Orlova.
Did you?
Yeah, and we stalked her silently from afar.
Is that the Hot for Words lady?
Yeah, it is.
Dude, she was so hot.
Her and her friend.
I saw a couple super hot dudes. They were signing autographs. Mr. Brent Spiner and Leonard Nimoy.
I saw
Nice.
Edward
No
James
shit.
Olmos.
Guys.
What's
That was pretty funny. I kind of geeked out for a second when I saw
Did
them.
you
I was
really?
like, oh, they're together at the same time.
I wonder if they're giving each other hand jobs under the table. Dude, the Hot for Words chick. God damn, Gus and I saw the funniest thing. We were sitting at the bar in our hotel where she had like a Hot for Words meetup, and we kind of went down there just to see what was going on, and see if she was as hot in person as she was, and she was. And her friend that buys her drinks is even hotter, by the way. But
You know what would have been awesome
What's
if I
that?
had thought about it ahead of time? Get her to sign a dictionary.
that's a pretty good
That's
idea.
funny.
She has like a book she was signing. But anyway, so Gus and I were sitting at the bar, and there was this big fat guy next to us who must have been like 400 pounds, and he kept
I
bumping
don't
into
know if he
Gus.
was that big.
All right,
He was
in
like
the
a
threes.
3, yeah.
Yeah. And he kept bumping into Gus, and Gus got annoyed, so we went and sat somewhere else. And we watched that guy sit at the bar pounding drinks for about 45 minutes until he built up enough courage to walk over and ask to take a picture with her.
Wow.
And he was just staring at her, and then he'd order another drink, stare at her, order another drink, and then he eventually like lumbered on over and took a photo, and of course put his arm around
Yeah,
her
like
and
as
got
soon
all
as he sits
fucking-
down, he pulls the old like yawn, like
He totally
like,
did
puts
it,
the
yeah.
arm around back.
Really?
Yeah, it was totally awesome.
So where's your picture with her?
If he would have had a box of popcorn, his dick would have been in it.
I really wanted to get a picture, but I don't know. I just feel weird going up to people.
Yeah,
and
I
ask
don't-
for a picture, especially
I do too.
like we have a weird perspective on it. I think after working in the booth all day.
So let me give you an outsider's perspective here. There's 3 lame dudes at the bar. Only one of them worked up the
No,
courage
actually-
to go over. That's
actually,
what I'm
no,
thinking
no,
in this.
I'll say this: there were a lot of lame dudes at the
Yeah.
bar. There were probably as many dudes at the bar staring at Marina Orlova as there were dudes actually in the meetup area,
Probably.
talking with her.
So there was the meetup, and then nearby was the drink up, I guess.
Yeah,
The voyeur group. And you guys were part of that.
we were part of the voyeur group. Yes.
She's a hot Chiquita, man.
Speaking of other hot chicks, did anybody get to see Megan Fox or Jennifer Love Hewitt? They were both causing
No.
quite a stir.
I saw Olivia Munn pictures since we got back where she was like in every
Costume in the
Comic-Con
world.
appropriate costume ever made.
Yep.
Yeah, she changed clothes like every 4 minutes.
It's awesome. I saw her walk. She was being escorted by a group of elites as well. And I didn't...
You
I
You didn't
stopped
get in
until-
the way of that?
you got to see a celebrity ass, right, Bernie?
I did. Well, I mean, I didn't get to see her ass, but I was invited to go along and sit in with a interview with Jon Favreau because he was there to publicize Iron Man 2, and the guy who was doing the interview said, "I know you're a huge Iron Man fan. Jon Favreau likes Halo, so why don't you come along?" And I said, okay, sure. And so, I got to meet Jon Favreau and talk with him for like 10 minutes before his interview. But while we were waiting in the green room for Jon Favreau, was all the Iron Man cast and crew who were there, and they were doing like various interviews. So while we're waiting for Jon Favreau, I think I stared at Scarlett Johansson's butt for about 10 minutes straight. So I do not think I will be invited back.
Did you pretend to talk to somebody on text on your phone while you just took photo after photo after photo?
No, I
think-
just
I do that all
sat
the
there
time.
and drank water and took it all in.
I think if anyone's watching you stare at Scarlett Johansson's butt, I think you're forgiven. I think
Yeah.
I think it's the acceptable thing to do in that
It's the
situation.
norm, right?
It would be rude if you didn't.
Yeah, if anyone had said anything to me, I would have just pretended like I was retarded and made them feel bad.
In that moment, aren't you? I mean, you've been reduced
No,
to
you'd be
your basest self, You're staring at the sun.
Let's be honest. If you're in the room with Scarlett Johansson's butt, you're not going to be noticed by anybody else anyway.
Right.
You just can't be. You can't be seen.
You could steal wallets and watches all day long. And
Yeah.
nobody would ever notice or care.
It's like that's why meteors hit Jupiter and not Earth. It's because there's more important things for them to hit. That's why. And then I also got to see see Sam Rockwell, who was just a cool dude. It seems just a cool dude, wandering around. And I had just seen
he was just
Moon.
wandering around.
Yeah, he was like walking back and forth, getting drinks and stuff like that. I don't know if I want to be reporting on the comings and goings of these guys, but yeah,
How was his butt?
I didn't see.
Oh,
I didn't see.
Too bad.
We almost bumped into each other because we're both looking in the direction, as was everybody in the direction of Scarlett Johansson. So, It was
Is
okay.
Sam Rockwell in the new Iron Man movie?
Apparently so.
If you're like celebrity like Sam Rockwell and you get to go into those green room things too, are you thinking, man, I'm gonna get to look at Scarlett Johansson's butt too for 10 minutes or whatever?
No.
It's like, when does that wear off?
I don't think it
No,
ever
yeah, I'm
does.
sure it's like, Scarlett Johansson's butt again.
Yep.
No, dude, that doesn't wear off. That never wears off.
I would be. Yeah, I'm sure it does.
I don't think so.
And didn't she marry that guy?
Ryan Reynolds.
And he's gonna be in
Green
Lantern.
Lantern.
He's gonna be Green Lantern, right?
Are y'all playing
So-
Mad Libs?
Well, no, I'm just thinking. So she'll be back at Comic Con next year.
Of course. Absolutely.
What are you?
Green
Who the fuck are you kidding? Why would she go back next year? To tag
To
along for
tag
promotion for Green Lantern?
Absolutely.
No, I really doubt that. I
Okay,
really
is
doubt
that-
that.
Okay, I guess she's not going back. Thanks for keeping us up to
Okay.
date.
Well, why would she go back to
Scarlett
why would she-
Johansson's manager has spoken.
Why you gotta
in the
crush our
story.
fantasy? Why can't
She'll
we?
probably be in
like-
another big movie to promote. It's not like she's not.
No, her
working.
career's gone downhill. You heard Bernie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's all over her.
No.
She had her moment in the sun. The end.
I'm not trying to be rude, but why would she go back to Comic Con if she doesn't have to go to Comic Con?
Because she'd hang out with her husband.
No.
No, that's
No,
not
I
how it
don't
works.
see. I don't see that. Like, I didn't see, a bunch of wives. Like, I didn't run into Rhea Perlman when Danny DeVito bumped into me.
Oh man, that would
Were
have
you-
been
were
hot.
you
That
looking-
could have been the one thing to distract you from Scarlett Johansson's butt.
That would have been a great moment.
Maybe she was cosplaying Yoda and I didn't notice her or something. But
Oh man.
Dude, if you're married to
Vicious.
Scarlett Johansson, you can't let her out of your sight. He's probably going to make her go.
Well, okay. Here's a great example. I can prove this.
You
Scarlett
can prove
Johansson.
something that hasn't happened that might in the future.
Yes, because I was in the room with Scarlett Johansson's butt, and I didn't see Ryan Reynolds anywhere. And I would have noticed him because, goddamn it, he's dreamy.
He's a good-looking dude. You would- Fucking- dude, Jesus and Gandhi could have been in that
No,
room.
seriously.
You
I'll
wouldn't have seen
settle.
him.
I'll settle for that.
He's married to Scarlett Johansson. Why the hell isn't he there helping her promote Iron Man 2?
'Cause
Because
he-
people don't do that.
He was too busy promoting Green Lantern.
Yeah, but really, I mean, let's look at
What?
this. Let's look at this from a promotional perspective. If you're like a PR guy, you're like, okay, I have this Ryan Reynolds movie. It'd be awesome if we could get Scarlett Johansson to help promote it. You don't go, I've got this Scarlett Johansson movie. Geez, I really wish I could get Ryan Reynolds on board with promoting this because that guy's dreamy, like Bernie said.
She'll be back next year to promote Iron Man 3.
True.
Or
There you
whatever, Woody Allen movie she's in next, right? Those are big hits at Comic-Con. Did that Larry David Woody Allen movie come out?
No, that looks pretty funny. I have to say.
I think it is.
I think it's like
out.
Larry-
Yeah, I think it is out.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I saw Larry David on the Tonight Show like 2 weeks ago promoting it.
How was that?
Those guys, like, they seem interchangeable.
It's good.
No, man. I think
I don't know if Larry David is into it.
Larry
young-
David and
young-
Woody Allen
young-
are interchangeable?
Yeah, I feel like they are. I mean, I don't know if Larry David's into young Asian chicks, but it seems like they have got almost the exact same sense of humor and timing.
Did Larry David really do anything before Seinfeld? Because
He did stand up, didn't he?
yeah.
that it?
Yeah,
I think
he
it's
was
what is that, how he came to meet Jerry Seinfeld and getting that whole thing.
Yeah, and does he just look older, or is he really much older than Jerry Seinfeld?
Well, Jerry Seinfeld's no spring chicken now.
Larry David looks like he's got a decade or two on Jerry Seinfeld.
I agree with that.
I bet if you looked up Larry David on IMDb, you'd see a long list of writing credits.
You think so?
Yeah,
Probably.
I wouldn't be surprised.
What was
I
that
have the-
movie he made? Was it a Steve Martin movie that was like so abysmal that was just panned?
Mixed
The
nuts.
Pink Panther?
Nuts,
Mixed
yeah.
nuts, right?
Oh
Yeah.
Jesus! I saw that. That thing was terrible.
Yeah.
He makes fun of that, I think. In
That had Adam Sandler in it too, I think.
oh, did it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like early Adam Sandler.
Larry David was born in '47, so he's over 60 years old at this
Yeah,
point.
62.
Yeah.
Wow. That's some
Yeah,
good
July
math.
2nd. Happy birthday recently to Larry David.
Yeah, happy birthday. We know you're listening.
That was good counting, man. Because math is the worst, as we found out at Comic-Con.
Yeah, we met an artist named Scott Campbell. We have the thing that we do now is we walk around the last day of the con and try to find cool art. If you've seen some of the shorts, you've seen our Rock'em Sock'em robot.
Yeah, I think we bought
Collection.
that the first year we went to Comic-Con.
Was it the first year?
Yeah, I think
first
so.
or second, yeah.
Yeah.
So now we're
Artist
determining
alley.
every year from now on we're going to go around and get some cool art. And on the last day we found this dude, Scott Campbell.
Scott C.
Yeah, who did
We had no idea.
yeah, he's apparently done lots of stuff and it was cool to
It's
find
really,
a guy
yeah,
who's
it's really cool.
Really
Yeah.
super nice guy, and we
Super nice guy.
very artisty, and just super chill and laid back.
Hey,
and
man.
kind of confused.
Yeah.
and we just loved his art because he had paintings of like Michael Jackson on roller skates dancing in a disco with
a bunch of zombies. Yeah, it was
and he had
super
like
cool.
one of He-Man and
love that,
Skeletor on a slip and slide.
That Space Invaders
Oh,
Devo,
yeah, Devo is,
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like the Space they're dropping the missiles down on like Devo's hats.
So we bought a bunch of this stuff for the office, and while we were talking to him, we found out that he was the creator on Brutal Legend.
yeah, art director.
Our art director on
director,
Brutal
yeah.
Legend.
Because he had little patches there on the table. I go, "What's the Brutal Legend patch for? Is that did you do the cover art? Do some art for them?" He's like, "Oh, it's the art director, man." It's like he was at that happy disconnection that a lot of artists have.
Was it Vic?
No.
Same personality.
But we ordered like 4. I bought 4 or 5 of his prints, and they were different prices. And you could see him like regretting the folly of pricing these things differently. He's like, okay, this one's 20, and this one's 30, and that's 50. Oh man, math is the worst.
That's great.
It's the best quote of Comic-Con.
It is. Math is the worst should be a T-shirt.
When I looked that dude up after Comic-Con, pretty fucking famous guy.
But I'm going to play this. I'll probably post the whole thing or an edited version of this. But Matt just brought up a great point where great reunion at Comic-Con on a personal level where Matt and I met Vic, who is our friend Victor, who is the inspiration for the character Vic in Red vs. Blue.
When's the last time you had seen that dude?
It's been a long time, man. It's been I want to say 10 years.
It's been before Red vs. Blue, so I would
Wow.
say for me probably 7 or 8 years. Cause,
Wow, that's
You
crazy.
saw him in San Antonio. That
yeah,
time.
I had seen him. I saw him just before we started Red vs. Blue, but he wasn't really like that anymore. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't that kind of he didn't do all those voices and silly stuff.
Burnie, Vic and I had known each other from our early days in working on production. We worked on a bunch of commercials and some short films and movies together, a Sandra Bullock thing and some other stuff. And Vic moved out to L.A. and then Vic and I pulled a switcheroo on Burnie, where Burnie and I were living together in Austin, and I needed to go out to L.A. for a while to work on a movie, and Vic wanted to come back to Austin for some reason. So we were just like, hey, let's just trade places. You can have my apartment, I'll have yours. And so I went. I was, I guess I wasn't thinking about it. I just moved into Vic's. He had a solo place in Venice Beach in California. It's awesome. And Burnie doesn't know Vic. And then one day he gets the knock on the door, and the guy says, "Hey, dude, I'm Vic. I'm here to live with you. I'm taking Matt's place."
And I was like, okay, come on in.
And then they were living together. So that was like 6 months or something.
Yeah, I lived with Vic for like 6 months.
And then Vic moved back. Vic didn't tell me. He just one day just moved back to L.A. And then me and Vic and Joel too were all living together in this tiny 1-bedroom apartment in Venice Beach, California.
That sounds hot.
It was sexy as Leonard Nimoy and Brent Spiner signing autographs together.
So I'm gonna try to play this as best I can, but this is me recording on my iPhone. I thought it would be fun to have the guy who inspired the character Vic read Vic lines, and so I'll have to scrub through this really
He
quick.
didn't want to actually read the line, do any actual lines though.
No, he did. Later, I'll strip to the end of it to where he
Wait.
goes to do the lines.
Testing 1, 2, 3. This is Burnie Burns. Shout to the microphone for clarity sound. All right, now we're gonna have a screen test for Vic playing Vic. All right, here we go.
So, okay, so what's the scene?
So the scene is that Vic is trying to give orders to Doc, and the radio keeps cutting out, and Vic is, hello, trying to get hold of Doc.
All right, let's scrub here to the end here.
Jonathan, hide. There's something underneath your feet, below you.
Tell him his dirty business.
There's some dirty business afoot.
One of my favorite. Can I tell the story?
It's only good when he comes out of his fucking mouth.
Yeah. Maybe you just tell me the lines and I'll say them. Give me some line. Give me a good line.
No Solomio yet, dude.
What?
Say no Solomio, dude.
Dude, no Solomio. Come on.
We were out drinking, and so that was fun, man. It was really good to see him again.
And the crazy thing about Vic is he's had a crazy career. He went on to teach video game development. His students knew about Red vs. Blue, and he said it's come up more than once. They've asked if they could do a paper or talk about it, in class as reference to something they were working on. And he was aware of it this whole time, but never knew it was us. Never knew there was a character named Vic that was inspired by him or anything like that.
And he had a weird thing when I saw him last before you saw him. Like it was after
SIGGRAPH.
Yeah, it was SIGGRAPH. That's where I saw him. Yeah, and he was working on an amusement park, a virtual reality amusement park in Kansas that was based on the Wizard of Oz.
It sounded incredible.
It was all holographic stuff. It was going to be this super futuristic amusement park, and it, as you can imagine, it was probably way ahead of its time. And that project just kind of evaporated one day. So But it was good to see him again.
Yeah,
He was a nice guy.
smart, funny guy.
You know, we were talking about people who were not at Comic-Con the other day, and like, there's all these booths. One of the booths that we're always very close to is the Penny Arcade booth. This time we were right across from them. We actually had a corner booth this year. It's very hard to move your way up in the Comic-Con ranks to where you can get a bigger booth or a better placed booth. It's very, very hard.
It's the next one possible.
Yeah.
And you guys talked about how the comic booths, the actual comic-based vendors, they're shrinking every year.
Absolutely.
A little bit at a time. We went to a party where I was invited to a party with a lot of comic book people. There's a lot of comic book artists and writers there.
I had to leave because I didn't want to be a fanboy.
Really?
I really did. I was just like, started to get nervous that I was going to be like, trip over my words and be like, oh my god, I love that issue 68 of Ultimate X-Men, or like whatever, you know? So I was like, I bowed out.
But I asked them, I said, a couple of people in the group, I said, is there like a resentment among people from the comics industry that this thing is growing beyond comics? And it was unanimously, absolutely. Fuck everybody else. In fact, one of the guys said, it's not the subtext, it's the text. We hate this. We can't stand the fact that it's just become this disgusting thing that's still called Comic-Con.
The weird thing about Comic-Con is that, it did actually start from being a comics-centered convention, but now obviously it's movies and just pop culture and culture in general. But there's like a comic version of almost everything in a way. But a lot of that stuff doesn't come out. Like every major franchise, like Star Wars and stuff, that have these enormous booths that take up so much of the show floor now. Like the comic is like an ancillary product that's just a side thing.
It's almost like the comic book is like the incubator for like what projects should go to film and video game.
It works that way sometimes.
Yeah.
And next time, like next go round, it'll be for video games.
Yeah.
A lot of video games are like Prototype came out and it had a comic that came out at the exact same time as the game, right?
Yeah.
And so did Dead Space, I think.
Dead Space as well, yeah.
You think that they'll ever change the name Comic-Con?
I don't. I mean,
No.
it's so well known. It's a great brand.
But it is weird because it definitely doesn't seem to be not inclusive to what the convention is about anymore.
But stuff like that happens all the time, and you don't understand what the origin of the word is. That's why we have Hot for Words to tell us these things. Like, I wonder if kids will understand why we say "hang up" when we turn off a phone. What does that mean?
That's a good call. I wonder, like, if you take a company like Marvel, what the percentage of their revenue is that's comic based, like actual comic book sales,
As opposed
at this
to
point,
licensing from movies
to licensing
and
from movies
yeah.
and video games. Because they put out, I mean, their goal is to put out 4 movies a year, starting in 2011, I think.
I was wondering. I was at the Iron Man booth where they had the suits up, which is such an awesome booth, by the way.
That was like
pretty cool.
Stark Enterprises.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so great. And they got the 4 seats, and there was a couple younger kids, maybe like 8 to 10-year-old range, that were looking at them, and I thought, these kids probably, saw the first movie or looking forward to the second movie, might have no idea whatsoever that it was ever a comic book.
Yeah.
And that is the way of Comic-Con now. Even the ones that you said like are an incubator for a big movie, it's like the public mindset about it is like, this is a movie. It's not a comic book franchise anymore. It's a movie franchise.
I think there might be a lot of confusion, not just about comic books like that, but about other things as well. Like one day I was walking to the convention center. I was walking behind 2 kids who must have been, 16 years old or so. And they were looking at some of the Comic-Con promotional banners that were up on the street, and it said, San Diego Comic-Con. And it had a picture that said Avatar, and it had like, a blue kind of ghostly figure on it. And they were like, "Oh wow, I can't wait for the Avatar." One of them was like, "I can't wait for Avatar: The Last Airbender movie," and the other one was like, "No, dude, that's not The Last Airbender. That's some other thing called Avatar." And the first one was like, "What?" The second was like, "Yeah, it's totally different. It's nothing at all to do with it." The first one was like, "That's lame. They shouldn't be allowed to use the same name. They're totally ripping off The Last Airbender." I was like, "God, these kids probably have no idea how." These kids were probably 6 when Titanic came out.
Have you seen the short yet?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
I put that in to the very end. After you told me that story, I thought it was so funny. We dropped that. It's very subtle, but at the very end of the thing, it's like Joel says, like, "What are you going to see at Comic-Con this year?" And see Avatar. It looks pretty cool. I'm like, "Yeah, The Last Airbender, awesome."
You could probably actually make a lot of money by marketing to the misunderstanding crowd, because there's a high percentage of people who misunderstand almost everything they read. We had people come to the booth and say, what do you think about Comic-Con ending in 2012?
Oh, my
I said,
God.
What the hell? What are you talking about? And they said, yeah, there's a sign down at the other end of the convention center that says they're not going to hold Comic-Con after 2012. We walked down there. It was a poster for the movie 2012 that said, only 3 Comic-Cons left. Enjoy it while you can. And people took that literally that they were ending Comic-Con in 2012.
You think the people who run Comic-Con would have an oversight on that and be like, no, you should reword that? Or
Yeah, our audience is too stupid for this.
Everyone will misunderstand this. I mean, what's the rational thought behind that? I mean, why would a kid think they're going to end Comic-Con in 2012?
because the banner said so.
And there's no kind of, like, scrutiny on that or anything at all. It's just, that's it, it's over.
I mean, it's the same thing. People, just take everything for face value. People see stuff on the internet like, oh, it's got to be true. Someone wrote it down.
I like that.
Someone typed it.
I like that movie too is about the end of the world in 2012. But it's like really the important thing here is the Comic-Con's ending. Forget the total wiping out humanity for as we've known it.
Those kids should have been concerned also that Hall H was for humans only.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly There's a District 9 poster letting you know no aliens allowed in Hall H.
Well, it's good. Yeah, it's nice to have a sanctuary.
In fact, I think those 2 posters might have been next to each other.
So District 9, I heard really positive things about District 9.
Yeah, I can't wait to check it out.
Yeah, which kind of, gives me a little bit of heartburn because that was the team that was going to make the Halo movie, And then also another rumor I always heard was that Avatar was this juggernaut that nobody wanted to get in the way of.
Avatar, like James Cameron's Avatar?
James Cameron's
Oh,
Avatar.
I was thinking the other
Not
one.
M. Night Shyamalan's Avatar?
Not Shyamalan's Avatar. That they were going to be soaking up lots of visual effects houses. In fact, I heard a funny story that Weta Digital, which is the visual effects house at Weta, that of course is famous for making the Lord of the Rings movies, and it's partially owned by Peter Jackson, that it's a separate entity, and they kind of proved that by when Peter Jackson took District 9 to them to do the visual effects, they said, nah, you're not big enough budget, and we're working on Avatar right now, so they had to go somewhere else to get their visual effects done.
That's crazy.
It is pretty crazy. But that Neil Blomkamp guy, or Blomkamp, I don't know how to say the name, I apologize, but he, that's a talented dude, man.
Yeah, I really liked that Alive in Joburg short.
That was
great. And I guess District 9's just a feature based on that.
Have you seen any of his other stuff?
I've seen some of the commercial work he's done.
I'm looking for that Adidas thing that we were reading about. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't think I've seen that one though.
Which one was it?
They talked about it in Wired.
Yeah, he did some viral campaign for Adidas that just sounded crazy, and also we just it was like something about a computer or some kind of AI taking over.
Yeah.
Something. So it sounded pretty cool, and like for his perspective with technology and the way he mixes that old and grungy and dirty kind of looking stuff with this super technology like the alien stuff in District 9. It's like I bet he did some really interesting stuff there.
Sure.
I'll see if I can find it for the link dump and put it in there.
Yeah,
he made a car commercial, a transforming car commercial.
Yeah, the Citron commercial.
Yes, that's everything you wish the Transformers movies were.
Oh God, yeah.
It makes sense, and you can tell what's going on.
Yeah.
And
I remember for a long time people would pass that commercial clip around in the U.S. and they would cut out the tail where it's a Citron car. And they'd say it was like a test piece for the Transformers
no
movie.
But I don't
that was
think that
him.
commercial had
Yeah.
Megan Fox though.
this is it.
So it's not
Yeah, I've seen the
everything you want
commercial.
in Transformers.
Yeah,
It's super fucking
It's
cool.
really cool.
Yeah, because you can tell it's a car.
It does just look like a bunch of metal jutting out in weird directions.
Yeah, the Citron doesn't turn into iron filings that then shape of a damn robot. So
$400 million iron filings.
But, it's weird, too, because I keep reading all these things that Peter Jackson says about the Halo movie. He'd still like to do it if he could, but then he's kind of saying negative things about the whole Halo movie experience. Now, to promote District 9, he says things like, well, District 9 is an original movie, and you don't have any original movies anymore, and it's great to have an original movie as opposed to just knockoffs and, like the Halo movie, which would have been just another video game movie release, and it's like, well, okay, but then are you interested in doing it or not?
I had not read that.
His Halo game / whatever it was, Halo Chronicles, I think it was called. Is that what they?
Yeah, it's an episodic Halo game they were going to release on Xbox Live.
Yeah, that's shelved now too. I just
is
read.
it?
Yep. Yeah, they said it's officially
Wow.
canned.
He Jackson's
said.
camp says it's canceled. MS says it's on hold. So I don't know.
Well, MS
There's
could,
some miscommunication.
MS
there.
could probably take it to another.
Yeah, they don't need
party,
him, right? They can go anywhere.
I guess. Who knows how that deal's worked out? Maybe
Yeah.
maybe there's a rights thing where after a while it'll expire and then they can take it somewhere else and do something else with it.
Sure.
But he even said he made a comment specifically saying that, and it's a valid comment. What he said was that there's no new properties really coming out. That everything is just a rehash of either a television show or a comic book property, or just a remade movie, period, that's what's being put out these days. That's most of the movies that are out. We talked about this for the top 10 movies of last year. That every
top
one
20
of
movies of
top
last
20,
year.
all of them were adaptations or remakes,
Yeah,
or sequels.
I think we talked about it in the Drunk Tank, actually.
It's a fair comment in general, although you can pick apart anything to say, "Oh, this came from something else." I
Yeah,
mean, Gus and I were talking about District 9 is basically Alien Nation.
He's saying they're literally properties,
Yeah.
like the Brady Bunch movie or Iron Man 2,
Harry Potter.
There's stuff.
Yeah,
you've known
it's
for
a very
years.
clear line that this is obviously, derived or is a sequel to that.
Which is a bold statement from the guy who remade King Kong. It's like
And Lord of the Rings.
And Lord of the Rings,
True.
right? But I could stand in the middle of Comic-Con and look in a 360 degree. Every one of those properties was around when I was a kid. I mean, Iron Man, Hulk, all the DC characters, Star Wars, they're all big. It seems like the only new big franchise out there are video game stuff.
I was
Halo.
about to say that. I saw the only new stuff I saw was all in the video game section, and like one of the things that I saw that seems like it might be an interesting story was that Darksiders game.
Yeah, that game looked pretty cool. Who was making that? Was that
THQ?
THQ?
Yeah.
Gus and I got a chance to play that game, and it looks very WoWish, but
Yeah, a lot of WoW-inspired art for sure.
the
but
story seemed really cool. Like
it's like humans have died off. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse came, and humans are all gone. Then after the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse do their job, like they, basically, I guess heaven tries to kill them, and kills 3 of the 4 horsemen, and the only one left is War, and he has to fight, both heaven and hell.
That's cool.
yeah, they're all gunning for him. It was fun to play too.
Yeah.
Really fun.
Here's what Peter Jackson said. He told the LA Times, "I think that's one of the most depressing things about the film industry generally today. The writers and directors should be blamed just as much as the studios. ... Everything seems to be a remake or adapting a 1970s TV show that was never particularly good to begin with." So,
Yeah, a lot of movies based on 70s shows these days.
It's true.
Well, is he knocking Land of the Lost?
Personally, I thought Starsky and Hutch was awesome.
yeah.
I like that.
It's probably why people like Judd Apatow in comedies, their comedies tend to be more original.
Yeah, sure. Funny people.
Funny People's looking pretty good to me.
Yeah,
I agree.
I actually really want to see that.
I wish the trailer wasn't like 17 minutes long.
I don't like the viral marketing.
No,
I really don't like it.
You don't like Randy?
Their viral marketing. I guess I haven't seen it yet.
That's the better version of their viral marketing, like their NBC fake sitcom.
Yo Teach?
Yeah, that was
was
terrible.
horrible.
That was terrible.
That was terrible.
I mean, it was an exercise in terribleness, basically, but it really just wore you down.
It really
was
did.
almost like too accurate. They didn't think, oh, maybe we should stick in jokes while we're making this accurate thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really making me want to see Funny People, but the trailers for Funny People are making me want to see Funny People.
That scene in the doctor's office is awesome.
Pretty damn funny. Pretty damn
If
funny.
you haven't seen the trailer, Gus will do a link dump for it.
Yeah.
You're not my boss. Don't tell me what I'm doing.
Gus, can you do a link dump for the trailer?
Yes.
Gus only links the stuff he talks about. I don't know if you notice it or not. He also edits the podcast so that his segues get put in, and I randomly make no sense. Like the time 2 weeks ago, I started randomly talking about Christopher Walken because you cut out a Christopher Walken story that I told, but you left in me finishing the story just so you could have your Christopher Walken segue for whatever reason.
Guess what? All that's going to be cut.
So what else did we talk about? Let me see if I got everything. Kid, I have on my notes here, stupid kid who thought Comic-Con is ending in 2012. We mentioned being across from Penny Arcade. I just want to say something that Gabe and Tycho are amazing.
They're animals.
We watch them in that booth sign for 8 hours a day. Now, we do that too. We sit in the booth, but there's more of us who will sit there and sign, so we actually take breaks and, rotate out of the booth.
In theory.
In theory.
We're also signing and selling, though. It's a little different. We're doing double duties.
Yeah,
You know?
that's kind of rough. Because
It
we
is
don't have.
kinda rough.
They have a much bigger booth because they've been there a lot longer time. They have 3 booths, and we have 1 booth on the
Yeah,
corner.
they got 5 years on us at Comic Con.
We actually got Scott Kurtz's booth from Player vs. Player Online. He gave up the corner booth because it wasn't worth it to him, but it was perfect for us because we could set up monitors on one side of our booth.
Yeah,
That
we
was
basically
great.
switched booths. He kind of took our old booth, in essence, and we got his, which was very lucky for us.
I think it's fantastic. I'm so glad to have that corner booth.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Scott.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
That's the only way you can move up in
We were
Comic-Con.
complaining earlier about the Comic-Con guys coming around and telling us to clear out and stuff, but man, this year's Comic-Con experience, far and away, better than any of our previous ones.
Absolutely.
I think
Best booth position, best, just for the fans, it was the best, because they could see more.
Now we're on one of those giant freight aisles, like in front of us. I don't know if you noticed that, where that aisle
Right.
in front of us is way bigger than the
Yep.
typical aisle, so you
Yeah.
can get more people out there, and everything about the placement was a hell of a lot better.
Yeah, we had a very steady crowd the entire time, but I didn't feel crowded. It was
Right.
nice. And I would say this Comic-Con had much better Scarlett Johansson butt than previous Comic-Cons for
It's
me.
true.
So Scarlett Johansson butt, I'm assuming, was your big favorite moment from Comic-Con?
Actually, you know what?
Was it-
Talking to Jon Favreau, it's going to sound, douchey, like to just repeat the conversation, but that was by far the best part. That was
Meeting
really
Jon Favreau.
cool. Yeah. And he gave me this thing, this like coin, challenge coin from the
That's
set of
awesome.
Iron Man 2, and this is awesome. I'm a huge Iron Man fan. Absolutely huge. I've complained endlessly about the ground punch and stuff like that, so I think that's been the source of a comic joke several different times.
Yep.
But
What about everybody else's favorite moments? Gus?
I think taking the pedicab back from the yard house
Oh,
was
dude.
probably my favorite
That
moment.
There's another ass story.
Dude.
This one's
It's like
Ukrainian.
a
though.
one-track mind in this office.
Yeah, but seriously, that like Ukrainian girl who was driving us back in the pedicab, fantastically talented girl.
if you don't know what a pedicab is, it's basically a bicycle rickshaw, essentially. And if you don't know what a rickshaw is, Comic-Con is ending in 2012. So it doesn't matter.
I don't know. Here's my favorite moment, and I don't know who you are that I'm going to tell this story about, but I thank you nonetheless. We've sold a bunch of different products, T-shirts, and DVDs and stuff over the years, but just recently we had this Griffball figure made. Though we didn't make it, McFarlane Toys made it, and they did an awesome job. But it's very, very cool to see something that you're associated with have an action figure come out.
Absolutely.
They were selling them at Comic-Con. They went really well, and people were bringing them around from Entertainment Earth where they were selling them, and we were autographing them. Jeff was doing most of that because he's Griff. And at one point in the con, I left to go get some food or something, and I walked in. There was a kid leaned up against the wall, and he had a Griffball action figure out, and he was looking at it, and he was staring at it like really intently. And I kind of like leaned in a little bit. I was thinking, man, I'd say, hey, cool Griffball action figure or something. But he was like staring at the Griffball figure, and he's going, fucking awesome.
So cool.
So fucking cool. And I was like, that is the best compliment ever for anything we've ever done that I can think
It
of.
was like he was making love to that figure.
It's like he
Yeah.
was so excited about that. It's like, man, I remember how excited I was to get, the best, like, coolest Star Wars figure or whatever it was that I was into, Back then, it's like, you have that intensity for it, man. It's like, it was so cool to hear somebody else with that intensity for something we've worked on. It was really, it was very cool.
I feel like I should take mine back now.
It's
After
fantastic.
That, after that one.
Mine's-
I should have a more upstanding
Mine's-
favorite moment.
Mine are all about food.
And asses.
But the cool thing for that for me is I got one for my daughter Millie,
Yeah.
and I took it home and I let her play with it. And now sometimes she'll come up to me and she'll go, "Daddy, do you want to play with Daddy?" I'm like, "Yes, yes, I do."
Nice.
Yard House though, and
Yard House.
Gus and I found a secret steakhouse that I'm never going to say the name of.
Oh yeah, that place was really good. It's right by the convention center. It seems like there's a lot of nice restaurants right by the convention center there at Comic-Con that are always empty, 24 hours a day.
Yeah,
Really?
I guess kids are looking for the less expensive food so they can spend more money on merchandise at the exhibit hall.
And God bless him for that.
Yeah, and we're huge fans of that.
like Gus and I were going to eat at Nobu the other day because it's a famous restaurant that Howard Stern frequents a lot, and I listen to the Howard Stern show. And I've always wanted to kind of check it out, and I didn't know they had one in San Diego. So we went there at like 12:15 in the afternoon, like lunch on Saturday. And we were looking at the menu, and we don't like seafood. Neither of us does, so we decided ultimately not to go there. But we looked inside, and there were literally 0 people in Nobu.
Yeah, every server was standing at the window with their arms crossed, just looking out at the crowds. There was not one
like,
customer in the restaurant.
Quiznos was packed.
Is that the one? Is Nobu the one with the chef guy is on Iron Chef?
I don't know.
The TV show?
I don't know.
It's like they just made a movie or a comic book out of Iron Chef, and they would have some,
But you know what? My coolest memory was probably Gus and I got to see a private showing of Splinter Cell Conviction, and that game looks awesome.
Did you guys play Left 4 Dead as well? Left 4 Dead 2?
No, we got to see it, but there was we had a press invite we were supposed to go to, but we were setting up and we couldn't
Yeah.
make it. So we went to the public viewing and we watched people play it, and it looked super, super, super cool. But we did get to play,
Bad Company 2.
which was also super cool.
Yeah, it seems like they integrated a lot of the Battlefield 1943 controls and the squad system to Bad Company 2.
And to all the people that Gus and I heckled, I really apologize. We were really drunk.
We started calling out the people who were not picking up the weight for their team.
we stood behind like 8
Hey.
kids and just berated them for half an hour.
Speaking of picking up the weight for the team, we should give a special thanks to our helpers this year.
Yeah, definitely.
Finch Lynch and Count 3D and
They were at
Jack
Jack.
Patilla.
what's Jack's username? I forgot.
Jack.
Just Jack.
They were in the podcast last week, by the way.
Oh, well, there you go.
And
But let me throw
Mookout
let me
too.
throw this in that
Yeah,
we
Mookout
shot
as well.
we shot a short in San Diego. It was the first time we shot a short outside of Austin, so it was a big challenge. And those 3 guys were there, and they just did a phenomenal job. And they were super helpful and super on the ball, and just jumped right in and went way beyond the call. And
We made
really appreciate it.
You know, the thing, God bless them all. They're all, did a lot of work for us. But the thing that amazes me about those guys is, like, some of them we didn't even give a badge to. Like, they came down to Comic-Con on their own, not expecting to help us.
Yeah.
We were just like, hey, come help us with this stuff.
That's
They
what
just-
happens when you're friends with Rooster Teeth. You're on the crew. It's expected.
It's that fine line between exploiting and joining you in the process.
How
Yeah.
many times have people come to visit us in the office? They show up unannounced and they're like, "Hey, I'm just, I watch your stuff online and I saw that you guys are here in town. I thought I'd come by and visit you." And we're like, "Great, here's a controller. Here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do some
we're
head
gonna say this
bobbing.
line, Bob this head."
Yeah, take this trash out.
I think
Clean the litter box.
I think we appropriately thanked them on the last day with the 28-inch pizza we got.
Oh, that pizza was terrible, but it was huge.
It was so
It's like
big.
you can make up for bad quality with just a mass
With
quantity.
quantity, yeah. We should post a photo if you have one.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find one. We took Matt's advice and drove over that big bridge over to Coronado. And
It's a cool place, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
real cool.
it was like a-
we decided. Jeff said he wanted pizza, so I looked on Urban Spoon and found some pizza place, and they had a 28-inch pizza.
It was like right on the water.
Your pictures, it looked like you guys were eating a table.
They dropped pepperoni on the
like
table.
they came
man.
and they brought the pizza out, and like other patrons started coming up to our table with cameras to take pictures of the pizza.
It's enormous.
It took an hour to cook.
Gross.
They were like, "You sure you want the 28? It's gonna
It
be an
couldn't
hour."
have been good, right?
No,
couldn't
it
have
wasn't
been
very
good.
good.
Yeah,
But the experience was great.
They just gave you an hour to drink, right?
And they gave us a free pitcher of beer, and
Nice.
They were super nice.
Yeah, they really took care of us.
Yeah.
Great staff.
I don't remember the name of that pizza place, but
It
everyone
was
should go.
Village Pizzeria. in
Mozzarella
Coronado.
sticks were fantastic.
I would think your favorite memories, you two shitheads, would be when you blew out the fucking stereo in the rental car. That's what I think. Your
We
favorite
didn't do that. That just happened on its own.
What does that mean? You're playing the radio.
The music wasn't even loud. Like, we were just going through the parking lot. The music
We
was...
had just gone through the drive-through, so the music was turned like super low.
Yeah, right.
And the speakers just all of a sudden, Gus and I were driving 5 miles an hour through the In-N-Out parking lot, and all of a sudden a shotgun went off. The whole fucking Lincoln Navigator we rented shook. It was crazy.
I
There
felt
was
like I got
force
punched
behind
in
it.
my chest.
Yeah.
Like, it was so loud.
I thought a meteor fell.
Yeah,
on us.
I honestly thought for a second a meteor had hit our car. It was like, what the fuck was that?
And then suddenly the stereo didn't work anymore.
Well, we rebooted the car and it started working again.
Yeah.
Great. Great.
Rebooted the car.
Yeah.
I'm sure the rental car company, who will not be named here, won't.
Rhymes with Mertz.
Although, yeah,
I told them I don't want. I was like, listen, something's wrong with the stereo in this car. It didn't work for a day, then it started working again. I was like, nothing we did caused that.
You know what, though? I don't think anyone can have a stupider experience with rental car companies than Matt and I had in Seattle.
I think that pretty much takes the cake.
When we basically stole an Infinity from a competing company. We thought we'd upgrade. They told us, hey, it's like $20 and you can upgrade to Infinity, $20 a day. We're like, hell, we're going to be here one day. Let's do that.
do it,
Why
man.
not? And so
High
they said,
roll it.
it's the blue Infinity. It's right outside here. Right in Seattle is horrible. All the rental car companies are in the parking garage. So we walked right out the front door. There's a blue Infinity sitting right there. We get in it. We drive away. And we get to that security booth, which I've never understood why they have that. It seems like such a stupid double check. Now I know why. Because not only did we take the wrong car, we took a car from another rental company. like just randomly stole a
wrong.
car. Which, dudes, we just stole an Infinity.
Did the security guard draw their gun?
It
Or
was everyone was very confused.
The worst or most bizarre part was when we had to give the car back, and the representatives from the two different car companies had to come and meet at the same time with this other security personnel. It was like a Mexican standoff.
Yeah.
Like we're all there together and like
Racist. That was racist. Wasn't that racist?
That's the appropriate term.
I think it's a common term. Don't.
It's like the end of the good, the bad, and the ugly.
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so these three different groups, and they all have to we have to exchange keys at the same time and pass it on. You've ruined the story.
Yeah.
In the end, the bad guy dies.
In the end.
In the bad guy dies.
In the end. And then the guy's like, you trying to Jew us out of a car?
we were gypped. That's for sure.
Isn't that short for gypsy?
Horrible.
Oh man,
Oh,
It's just-
Jesus.
nonstop over there.
Gus picked it up.
Is there anything else we need to talk about before we wrap up here?
Well, you guys mentioned Battlefield 1943. I think it deserves a very special call out to note that Battlefield 1943 as an arcade game ended up in the top 5 Xbox Live games played across all retail games and everything. That's a big milestone, dude.
Kudos.
That's incredible.
That's got to be the first time that's happened on
think so,
Xbox
too.
Live. Yeah.
I
I mean,
think
we
so,
watch
too.
that list every week, and I've never seen an arcade game make it into
I
the
read.
I think it'll be a
top
mainstay,
EU
too.
list. It's going to be around for a while.
I read an EA press blast that said they've sold 600,000 copies of that game across Xbox Live Arcade and PSN.
I'd also like to point out I was watching the there was that Coral Sea contest to when you got 43 million global kills,
Right.
it unlocked the Coral Sea map.
Right.
It took PlayStation a full week longer than it took Xbox to get it.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. Xbox did it like in 4 days
4
or something.
days.
How much are you going to rub that in?
As much as I can.
Are you going to bring that up like in the
Every
year,
chance I get.
the year-end wrap-up?
Every podcast.
Yeah.
But the that could end up being both the sales and the popularity of it now in the playlist. That might end up being at the end of the year the most influential thing that's happened this year.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Oh, another cool thing I just read, Ghostbusters just broke 1 million sales.
Really?
Nice.
A million
Great
units?
million units. Great game.
Well, good for them
Really
because they
cool
had
for
a
them.
hell of a time getting that game out.
Yeah.
Brutal Legend had that same problem where I don't know if I really disagree with why they're being sued at Brutal Legend.
I don't know. As long as the game gets to come out.
What's the equivalent in video game industry now for a $100 million movie? $100 million grossing
That's
movie.
a good
That was always
question.
like the watermark was $100 million.
I would think a million
you know?
sales, right?
I would think so too. It's not exactly equivalent in terms of a dollar gross.
No.
Right. Yeah. Well, you figure. I think
But it
I read
seems
that
like-
the Ghostbusters game cost $30 million to make. So
Oh, so if you're hitting,
so
a
you
million
sold $1
sales,
million, you made $60 million bucks.
Of
Not
that $100 million watermark, which really doesn't mean what it used to either.
No,
No,
Would you want to say 1 million sales in day one?
that's huge.
Well, that is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is huge. But like that's like Halo 3 and Call of Duty. Call of Duty will
Yep.
be the biggest launch in entertainment history. They're saying.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
I think that's another thing you say every 5 minutes.
I'm excited about it.
That and the Coral Sea stats. What else do we need to talk about? What would you like to see change about Comic-Con? Real quick.
I'd like
to see a bigger venue.
Well,
I'd like to see a bigger venue.
Would
yeah.
you like to see it change cities?
no.
I'd like it to stay in San Diego, but
Las
I don't
Vegas.
think
They
I don't
needed-
think it can fit.
I don't
No,
care.
they didn't-
I don't care where it is, as long
Las
as I'm not fucking
Look,
sandwiched in
they-
with 125,000 people.
They need a bigger venue, yes, or to spread it out over more days or something to lower the
That would
number
suck.
of people in the. Well, it would suck for us, but I mean to lower the number of people in the hall at one time. But man, once you walk out of those convention doors and you're into the San Diego air, it's like, man, that's priceless. Because
Yeah.
That's why I'd
San
rather keep it in
Diego's-
San Diego
exactly.
than move it to Vegas.
Can
I can't imagine
what is
walking
with
out.
him
I
in
guess
San
you don't have to
Diego?
walk outside in Vegas
it
anywhere
would be,
ever, but
that would be terrible.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
so much more, especially in July.
What
Yeah.
is with you gigantic pussies that you can't handle weather? I mean,
San Diego's so awesome.
It's a
It's
great
not that
city.
you can't handle weather; it's that you can appreciate how great it is when you're there for the few fleeting moments we are.
I'd like
get
to
a
see.
fucking
Also-
room.
Also,
You're-
it's just like the.
I want to make
the-
out with San Diego.
I know.
I mean, San Diego's just a cool place. I mean, it is. It's the gas lamp district and the beach being right there, and it's just like scenic.
I guess
it's fun.
though, in Vegas' defense, if we get like frustrated and stressed out from working all day, we can go shoot guns.
That's true.
There you
Go
go.
get a machine
That is a
gun
big
and
plus.
shoot.
Vegas is way cooler than everything put together. I don't care if it's 1,000 degrees.
I'd like to see how
All right.
big it could get, though, because it's capped at 125,000 people, and they sold out like 8 months early this year.
Yeah.
Did they really?
And they get more than twice the amount of vendor submissions than they can accommodate.
Yes.
So it would be interesting to see like how big Comic-Con could get if it wasn't limited.
Let's put
That'd be
that
insane.
let's put that in perspective because people might not be aware, like the behind the scenes stuff at Comic-Con. We paid in full for our booth next year, 2 days before the convention ended this year.
Gus was the 4th person in line.
Yes, I was behind Square Enix.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, what you said was there were a whole bunch of people in line that weren't even vendors. They just showed up at Comic-Con on the last day to apply.
Submit the form and try to get in for next year.
Yeah, but you know what? They shouldn't get it. If you should be able to maintain your streak and keep your booth. I really do believe
You
that.
can.
No,
I mean,
yeah,
they do a good
that's
job
the
of
way
that.
it works.
But
Although-
they got the stamp that was like, what was the stamp?
The stamp says wait list, and you
Wait
just feel
list.
bad for all those people. It's like wait list.
How-
All right, get out of line.
How lucky were we to get in that first year we applied?
It's unbelievable. I can't imagine getting in now. I don't
Yeah.
know how that even works.
And now
Yeah.
we're grandfathered, I mean, there are a ton of booths that you see every year after year. They're mostly comic booths, sadly enough, where there's no one there. You just see the guy sitting there, and he's sitting there for hours on end. And I'm just thinking, this booth is expensive. A lot of people would want this booth. I mean, I respect the guy for, getting out there and trying to make it work, but I've seen this guy for 5 years, It's just like, maybe it's time to, stir the pot a little bit.
It's time to give us your booth.
If they went down to a point now where they said, look, we're going to wipe the slate clean, and we're just going to auction off spaces.
Oh.
That would be a ridiculous...
It would be a ridiculous land grab.
And here's the most perplexing thing about Comic-Con is 125,000 people paying, $40 a day?
It's $100 a day now.
Going to $100
It's
a day?
$100 a day.
It's going to $100 a day next year.
Wow. $100 a day for 125,000 people is $12 million a day. Comic-Con International is a non-profit company.
If they auctioned off exhibitor space like that, like you just said, which they're not going to do, that would be terrible because it would push people like us out. It would only be giant businesses.
It would.
It would be Warner Brothers would take up half the hall. Video games would take up, a quarter of the hall.
Yeah.
And like the Scott Campbells of the world, Scott C's wouldn't be seen.
Yeah.
All right,
No, I agree.
we got to wrap this up.
Rooster Teeth. Let's worry about number one here.
There you go, yeah.
All right, we got to wrap this up.
Hey,
Here's what I'd like to see less of at Comic-Con. I'm getting sick of zombies.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's only going to go up next year.
That zombie stuff is getting so saturated right now. Get your finger off the mouse button. We're not stopping. We're still talking.
Lots of zombies.
Props to Gus for another successful Comic-Con.
Yeah,
Gus
you
made all the administration.
great job.
Gus organizes all of our stuff.
Props to everyone. It's a team effort. All right.
Look at you.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Ta-ta.